You know, some books don't just tell a story. They completely change how you see the world. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful books of the 20th century, Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. Seriously, this is a book that was forged in the most unimaginable suffering, and yet it delivers this incredible lesson on what it means to be human. So, let's get into it.
First off, this isn't just some bestseller, it's a monument to survival. And get this, Frankl wrote this entire thing in just 9 days, right after he was liberated. 9 days. It's part harrowing memoir, part guide to finding purpose, and it's all grounded in an experience most of us can't even begin to fathom.
And that experience really forces us to face this massive, haunting question. It's a question that Viktor Frankl, who is a psychiatrist, didn't just think about in a theoretical way. He had to find an answer for himself just to stay alive.
So to really understand his answer, we have to go where he went. In our story, it doesn't start in some comfortable clinic. It starts in the brutal, soul-crushing reality of a Nazi concentration camp. So picture this. Before the war, Frankl is this brilliant up-and-coming psychiatrist in Vienna, already working on his big ideas. But then, in 1942, his whole world is just ripped apart. He and his family are deported, and for the next 3 years, his life becomes this raw, desperate experiment in just surviving. And that hellscape, well, it became the very crucible that forged his most important ideas.
Inside the camps, Frankl started to notice something grim, but also incredibly profound. It's an idea that the philosopher Nietzsche captured perfectly. This became the absolute core of everything he observed. If you had a why, a reason to keep living, you could endure almost any how, no matter how horrific it was.
And man, Frankl writes about this in such a powerful way. He saw it again and again. The prisoners who gave up, the ones who just lost all hope for a future, they were almost always the next ones to die. It wasn't just the starvation or the disease that got them. It was the loss of meaning. That why was quite literally a lifeline.
But here's where it gets really incredible. In the middle of all this horror, this total deprivation, Frankl discovered something. He figured out the one thing that could never be taken from a person no matter what. He called it the last human freedom.
I mean, just try to wrap your head around the totality of that loss. They took everything, your possessions, your home, your family. They even took your name and replaced it with a number. Your dignity was attacked every single day. Physical freedom, a distant dream. By every external measure, these people were left with absolutely nothing.
And yet, in the middle of all that, Frankl had this huge realization. No matter what the guards did, no matter how awful things got, one thing always remained: your inner freedom. The freedom to choose your response, to choose your attitude. That space inside your head, that was yours and yours alone.
So, what that means is, even in the most oppressive environment you can possibly imagine, people still have the power of choice. Frankl saw it every day, in these tiny acts of kindness, like a prisoner sharing his last scrap of bread. The kind of person you became in that hell, he argued, was ultimately up to you. It was an inner decision.
Okay, so these incredibly powerful lessons forged in the fires of the camps, they didn't just stay there. They became the actual foundation for Frankl's own school of psychotherapy, logotherapy.
And the whole idea is right there in the name. Logos is the Greek word for meaning. So logotherapy basically says that our deepest, most fundamental drive as human beings isn't for pleasure, it's not for power, it's a search for meaning, a purpose that makes life worth living.
And you got to understand just how radical this was at the time. You had Freud's psychoanalysis, which was all about the will to pleasure. Then you had Adler's psychology, focused on the will to power. Frankl came along and offered this third way. He said, no, what truly drives us is a will to meaning. It was a complete game changer.
Okay, so if our main drive is to find meaning, the big question is, how do we actually do that? Well, Frankl didn't just leave it as some abstract idea. He laid out 3 very clear paths we can all take.
All right, first up, you've got work. This means creating something, doing a deed, contributing to something bigger than yourself. The second path is love. And this isn't just about romance. It's about experiencing beauty in nature, in art, or just deeply connecting with another person. And then there's the third path, maybe the most profound of all, finding meaning through the courage we show when we're faced with suffering we simply cannot avoid.
But here's something Frankl is super clear about. Suffering, by itself, is totally meaningless. There's nothing noble or good about pain.
But when suffering is unavoidable, we get this opportunity, an opportunity to give it meaning by how we respond to it, with courage, with dignity, with our heads held high.
And all of this, it all builds up to Frankl's ultimate conclusion about the dual potential that lies inside every single one of us. This power of choosing our own response.
And this next quote, wow, it just stops you in your tracks. Frankl is saying that his experience showed him the full spectrum of humanity. We are the species that invented something as evil as the gas chambers, but we are also the species that could walk into those same chambers with dignity, with prayers on our lips. We contain both. The choice is always ours.
And that's really the heart of it all, isn't it? This is the core message from Frankl's entire life's work, a powerful call for personal responsibility. Sure, we can't always control what happens to us, but we are always the ones who decide what we make of ourselves within those limits. We determine who we become.
So, what Frankl learned in the absolute depths of hell becomes a question for all of us, right here, right now, in our own lives with our own struggles. What is the why that helps you bear any how? It's a question worth sitting with long after this is over.